Oh my goodness, we got more cool crops over here. Oh my God, wait, are those mulberries? All right, back in the coop. Love you. More squash. Hoorah. Hello everyone, it is Brian here at Redleaf. It has been a minute since I've shown you what's happening in the garden. Fall is in full swing here, but honestly, looking at the garden, you wouldn't really be able to tell because everything is still so pristine, so lush and thriving. Most of the garden is gonna keep pushing along until we get our first frost, which has been forecasted for next Monday. I'm honestly so excited because I'm tired. I'm so tired. Our garden season is so long. We get things started here in January. We start seeds for the cool crops to go out in early spring, and it runs all the way until mid-November. That is such a long season. That's like basically 11 months of growing. So I get that 1 month window where I just get to rest and hibernate. And I can't wait because like I said, I'm so tired. I'm so tired. But it feels really nice that the garden can provide for so long here. If you aren't aware, we are in central Tennessee, zone 7B. So our climate really is just amazing for growing such an abundance of crop as you've seen throughout the years. But I wanted to walk around the garden and show y'all what is going on. First, let me show you the plant that has tired me out the most this season, every season, because of how much abundance it produces. Like, it might be a little bit too much. At this point in the season, I don't even know what to do with all of these tomatoes, but as you can see, they are still going so strong. And it has been getting cooler. Like, we're getting into like the low 50s at night, low 40s even. We haven't experienced a frost yet. So as long as we don't get those frosty temperatures, all of these warmer crops like tomatoes, squash, eggplants, peppers even, are gonna continue producing. They might slow down quite a bit, but they're gonna keep going. As you can see, we still have such an abundance of tomatoes growing in. Lots are still ripening. They're still getting that really nice warm mid-fall sun. Oh my gosh, and we still have some real big ones coming in too. Oh my gosh, what am I even gonna do with all these maters? I'm matered out, y'all. And it's no guarantee that all of these are gonna make it to the end of the season. Like, if we get that first frost, I'm just gonna harvest everything that we do have. If I end up with a bunch of green tomatoes, we'll get some fried green tomatoes. But really, Sunday is gonna be the true final harvest of the summer. So I think the tomatoes will officially be done by then. Oh, hey Bruno. Hi Bubba's. I know you're loving the cool weather. Having such a big dark-haired dog, the summer can be a bit rough for him, but he's loving the cooler weather. He wants to be outside all the time now. He's usually such a homebody, right? Right? What has been nice is I've been like intermingling the cool crops along with the warmer crops. So I do have a nice new round of carrots coming in here. I actually need to get in here and thin them out eventually. Usually when I plant my carrots, I do it pretty chaotically. I don't really think too much about it. I just like prepare a little space, the soil, and then I just sprinkle the seeds, not necessarily placing or spacing them any certain way. But as they grow, I actually did a pretty good job laying them out pretty chaotically. But if you have a cluster of carrots like these here, if you have carrots that are too close together here, you literally thin them out by just plucking them. You want a nice like 2 to 3 inches in between each carrot. Yeah, and it's quite satisfying. Unfortunately, once you do pluck them, they can't really be replanted. They won't do too hot. But the chickens will appreciate these extra little greens in here. I forget what variety of carrots these are. Again, it was done pretty chaotically. Didn't give it too much thought. Carrots are one of those easy crops that don't really take much thought. You just sprinkle them and watch them grow. But thinning is so essential. If you want a successful crop of carrot, you got to make sure you thin them out and give them the proper spacing. Otherwise, once they develop, they start to like split and try to wrap around each other. And once they split, they can get pretty bitter and welcome pests that like to chew them up. So thin out your carrots. I'm gonna toss these to the chickens. Our chickens are doing really wonderful. Speckle, I don't know if you've been following the saga of the new chicks that we've been trying to hatch, that we have hatched. Speckle wasn't the most successful hatcher of chicks, unfortunately. But since putting her back and reintroducing her to the other chickens, here you go. I've actually gone in and removed the housing that was in here, the other coop that she was brooding in. A really nice way to break the brood if you're not gonna be able to hatch chicks with the broody chickens is to either remove the area, if possible, hey Olive, that they're brooding in, or just separate them from the area that they're brooding in. That separation really helps break that brood. Isn't that right, Olive? You got 4 kids right now. How you doing, Ollie? I cannot believe that we hatched 4 chicks, and I'm pretty sure 3 of the chicks are roosters as well. So after doing all that, I'm pretty devastated because I was really hoping for hens because my ladies are old and I really need new laying hens. There'll be 6 next year, and that's about when they start slowing down egg production and phasing out of laying eggs altogether, but to get 3 more roosters. That's just my luck, huh? The rooster genes are strong, huh, Olive? Oh, yeah, you love them. I know, you act all tough, but once a baby, always a baby. But unfortunately, because we have Olive, our rooster, already, and such a small number of hens, we're not gonna be able to keep the other roosters. I think it's like 7 to 10 hens per rooster, and we have 7 hens, so we only really need 1 rooster to help, I guess, protect them and just be part of that pecking order. So I'm gonna have to give the other chicks away. If you've been following the series along on TikTok or YouTube shorts and want a baby hen or a baby rooster, hit me up because they will need new homes eventually. All right, back in the coop. Love you. Ooh, one thing I do want to show you, the only thing that's really, excuse me, Bruno, the one tree in the garden that's really giving fall, is this beautiful sassafras. Look at this gorgeous color. Oh, look at the gorgeous color on these leaves. Such a gorgeous tree. And sassafras has so many uses as well. Isn't this where root beer comes from? Don't they make root beer out of sassafras root? I don't know. If you know where root beer comes from and it's the sassafras, confirm in the comment. Also, if you like chew on the leaves of sassafras, I don't know if you've ever done that. It gets really, Bruno, I know you're not eating the compost right now. Ah! Get out the compost. Nasty. Let's go back to the garden. Come on. This is really interesting. I see it as a good sign, a good omen that our bearded iris right here, this is the 2nd time it's bloomed this season. We got a fall bloom of this gorgeous bearded iris. Slay, sis. Major slay. Thanks for giving us a show this time of year. Over here, we still have 2 squashes growing in the garden, or our butternut Sasquatch squash is still going very strong. We have this squash here that I think is actually close to being ready. I don't know. She's actually kind of soft. That doesn't feel good. She's developing that white coating. More squash. Hoorah. And there's another one over here. This one's coming along real nice. This one's getting some real nice color on her. Or real nice shape on her. Good size. She's nice and warm. She hasn't been creating that coat yet. So, girl, you got a week. Hope you're ripe enough. And we got some more of the Waldums coming in over here. These summer crops aren't going out without a fight. You got 7 days, y'all. Fingers crossed they make it. Oh my goodness. Same with the sweet potatoes. Look at this crazy mess over here. They are still going so strong. I've been waiting for them to flower, which is kind of my indicator for like determining that they're ready to be harvested, but they haven't flowered yet. So they're just growing. They just keep on growing. I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen. I don't know if you can like get in here and see, but like they're mounding themselves. Like you can see this big lump in here. Like there's sweet potatoes lurking. That sweet potato harvest is gonna be crazy. Oh my God, and there's so many in here. What will I do with all these sweet potatoes? We're gonna be eating real good this winter. That's for sure. Unfortunately, this squash is just out. It's just completely done for. Everything was harvested. She's kind of on her last limb, which is fine. I'm just gonna let her do her thing until the bitter end. But we have another round of cool crops here. We have kohlrabi. I've never grown kohlrabi. Never had kohlrabi. I hear it's tasty. Hopefully that's true. We're getting some really cute bulbs. Look at that. There's one cute little kohlrabi. And we got quite a few. There's another one over yonder. And right here too. We're gonna be eating some good kohlrabi this winter. And we have some dill here that's reseeded, which I absolutely love. Please grow more dill for me. Dill's one of my favorite things to grow. One of my favorite herbs. I love that she just volunteers herself. Here we have our next wave of broccoli, which are also looking really lush, really gorgeous, really full, nice and green. It's been funny seeing like the pests that I usually deal with, like cabbage moth and those dreaded harlequin beetles. The harlequin beetles, I've been like really on top of. Like there's been no spray or oil or natural remedy that I have found that handles the harlequin beetle. So I really have to get out here and hand pluck every single one off. And I've been really on top of doing that because with such a short window in the fall season, we ain't got time for any setbacks. So I'm making sure to get out here and just pluck away. But now that it's getting cooler, they have definitely phased out. The harlequin beetles are certainly done for the season. And now I'm not even worried about the cabbage moth because at this size, at this stage, this broccoli is gonna do really well in the frosty weather, but the cabbage moths or caterpillars won't. Winter's coming, bitch. And I'm really excited for it. One thing I do want to mention, a lot of the cool crops and things like that do say that they are frost hardy. I believe that is only true when the plant is actually at a mature size. I wouldn't really say it's true for saplings or tender seedlings. they will die. I wouldn't say that's true frost hardiness. When they are at this stage, I think they'll do very well in a frost. So we're getting that first frost next Monday. Very excited to see how they do with that, because I'm not gonna cover none of this. I ain't got time for that. So I'm curious to see what happens. And I hear that broccoli, cabbage, brassicas, the cruciferous vegetables, they actually get really yummy, real sweet in that frosty weather. I'm ready for some sweet, crunchy broccoli. Let's go, broccoli. Good luck, babe. Good luck. I did plant another. This is an interesting time of year. You're gonna hear like varied responses, like this is not a good time of year to be planting, or it is a good time of year to be planting. I think I'm on the bandwagon of it is a good time of year to plant because it's cooler. Naturally, when it's cooler weather, like I planted this Amsomnia. I planted, oh, this is old hyssop. I planted some more hyssop around the edges here, like this hyssop right here. Given they are perennials and they are native, so that definitely adds to the trust I have in planting them this time of year. But because it's cooler, it is more moist, it is raining more as well, it's gonna help these plants settle in and establish much easier, much more quickly than in the hot summer months. I do not recommend planting anything in the brutal heat of summer. Early spring, fall is honestly a really wonderful time to plant things. There's fall bulbs, of course, that overwinter and come out in the spring. Garlic is a wonderful thing to plant. Stay tuned for that because we will have to do a garlic fall planting. I am going to plant garlic this year. I didn't do it last year, and I actually really missed having the garlic harvest this year. I noticeably felt like something was missing from the garden this season without harvesting my garlic. So stay tuned for that. We're definitely going to do that. But yeah, planting these perennials, I think key word is perennials, native perennials. Fall is a really wonderful time to plant them. Trees as well, actually. And here in Tennessee, we don't get that harsh of a winter, so they will overwinter really well. And by spring, you're already going to have all these wonderful perennials in place, and they'll be back bigger and better for the spring season. So do your research on what's native to you, and fall is a wonderful time to plant. Get out there and dig a hole, fam. Ooh, you know what really surprised me? My eggplant. We still have so many. Look at how many fruits we got going on right now. Oh my goodness. You know how much eggplant parm I'm about to be busting out in this kitchen? Look at all. So much fruit. I don't know what took y'all so damn long, but I mean, I'm not mad. They're here, they're slaying. Oh my God, there's even one down here. We got fruit on fruit on fruit. So much eggplant parm. Another really fun recipe I like to make is called tortang talong or tortang talog, I think, something like that. But it's actually a Filipino dish. Some of the smaller ones might be perfect for it. Oh my goodness, we got more cool crops over here. We have another round of cauliflower, which, oh, sorry, Marigold. Sorry, girl. But as you can see, they are thriving. They are so big, so luscious. It has been raining. It has been nice and cool, which is literally ideal brassica conditions. They love rainy, wet, cool weather. That's when they thrive. You notice growth spurts like crazy. They grow so fast. Hopefully they develop a nice head in time. I know damn well. This was a sacrificial cauliflower. This was one that I let get chewed up by my harlequin beetles, I swore I just saw one. I think she saw me coming. She's like, oh, it's time to go, because they know I don't play that. She ain't gonna make it to harvest, unfortunately. I planted her at the same time as these, actually. And this one got beat up by harlequin beetle. And you can see how much it stunts their growth to be chewed on by harlequin beetle compared to the other ones. Big difference. We also have our gorgeous chard, which is like, I planted this in the spring and she endured the summertime, and now she is thriving in this cool weather. There's so much chard I don't really even know what to do with it all, especially with like leaves this big. Look at that leaf. That's huge. I really like making tacos or burritos with chard, like using it as like the tortilla. It's so good. So good. Slay chard. Also makes a nice snack for the chickens. They love their greens. Oh my goodness. My cabbages. Look at that. So we have our cabbages, but we also had a lot of our bush bean that reseeded. I just kind of let the bush bean go, because once that frost hits, all of this is going to die back, but it's going to become sustenance for the soil, which is going to be so good. I feel like there's like this little misconception about legumes fixing nitrogen within the soil. I believe I saw, in order for all of those nutrients to be brought back into the soil, I think the bean actually has to like die off to like release those nutrients. It doesn't just like release it as it's growing. I think it has to die off. Don't quote me on that. I think there's something along those lines with beans. So to see all these beans here growing, knowing that they're gonna die off with the frost, it's gonna give a really nice boost to the soil here, which is great because I'm growing these cabbages, which take a lot of nutrients from the soil. They are heavy feeders. I think it's gonna be a nice cycle of nutrients in this bed. All of these cabbages are doing so good. These are all varieties I got at a local garden center that mature within 50 to 60 days. That's how long our fall season is, so I wanted to make sure that they had a good enough of a window to actually mature within time. So let's go cabbages. Let's go, cabbages. I'm ready for some new heads. And they've been doing really well. Oddly enough, I feel like the harlequin beetles, those little pests that I keep dealing with, they haven't really been on my cabbages nearly as much as I've seen them on my cauliflower. I think they prefer the cauliflower. Is that a honeybee? Did it land on me? But yeah, very excited to see how these do. Yay, cabbages! Slay cabbage! Oh my gosh. Here we have more giant beds of sweet potato. These are actually starting to yellow off significantly more than the ones in the other bed. So these are these are giving me a pretty good sign that they're about done. They're about as tired as I am and want to be harvested. They're ready to go. I think I'm gonna harvest these real soon because they gotta go. Oh my God, I'm so curious to see how this did because these beds are new. I've never planted in a bed this deep before, nor have I used pure compost as the soil medium. So this was all quite new and experimental. Very curious to see how the sweet taters did in this. We shall see. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. Oh my goodness. You know what's giving us a really beautiful show this time of year? My pineapple sage. Oh my goodness. Look at the gorgeous color on her. I truly didn't anticipate them getting this big. This is the biggest I've ever seen them, but sages usually do get quite large. But she is absolutely stunning, giving us a beautiful fall show with these neon yellow, really bright yellow leaves and the red flowers. And I just love how pineapple sage smells. Oh, take a whiff. Take a whiff. It smells so good. You too. Oh my God, it smells so good. Love the pineapple sage. I'm happy I planted this for some like really nice fall interest because unlike our rudbeckia here, she's looking quite crusty. Quite crusty, quite dusty this time of year. I mean, it does add its own unique interest with these like brown bubbles hanging in the air. I feel like when winter hits and everything's more gray and brown, this will be nice. This will look real nice. I planted some more phlox just to fill in some gaps. Another perennial. Very curious to see how this comes back next year. I feel like this will fill in this little corner so beautifully. Here's a gorgeous salvia that's also taken over, really gorgeous color. She's been going all season. This is a really reliable plant in terms of like, she will perform all season long. She will give it to you. Love this really beautiful fuchsia magenta color, absolutely stunning. I know I say I'm tired, I am. Trust me, I am. But that doesn't really stop me from still like making sure there's nice interest happening within the garden throughout the season because like me personally, like I still want to see it, especially when there's so much happening. I don't like seeing like pockets of negative space, knowing that something was there and it didn't necessarily make it or it's been harvested. So I got some like, I believe these are native mums. I had a catmint that was growing here and just completely died off. But I feel like this is a native or a species variety of mums. And it's so unique because like, you know, when you think of mums, you think of the really tight, compact flowers that are really bunched together and create that like bubble effect, that bulbous effect of flowers. But like this is so different. You actually see like the internal flower head where the pollen is. There's something so beautiful about how big these blooms are. So pretty. Hopefully it comes back in that container. I think it would perform really well there. I'm very curious what's gonna happen with the greenhouse because this is my first like true winter going into winter with the greenhouse already built, already in place. I have quite a few tropical things growing in here. Things that won't necessarily do well through the winter. So I'm probably gonna have to find a means of keeping it warm in here because I don't want all this to die back because they didn't acclimate to the cooler weather. Let's see what happens. I especially don't mind everything here, but I especially don't want my olive tree to die back. Look at all of this beautiful growth it's given. I don't want to lose that. I want it to just like keep maturing, keep growing. Because like within one season, this did grow significantly. It gave us a lot, but I don't want to have to start over with her. So I probably will keep the greenhouse warm. Why not? Especially like I had a lot of these tropical fruiting plants like this dwarf banana. That's a shampoo ginger here in the corner. Some pineapple here. Some tropical passion fruit. I don't want all of this to die off. I just answered my own question. Yeah, I'm gonna heat it. I'm gonna have to heat it. Some pineapple guava. And these are citrus. This is lime, I believe. Here we actually have, this one started producing fruit. I mean, I don't know if she's gonna grow through the winter, but that was interesting to see. Let's see what happens to this greenhouse. I have to find a place for this wind chime. I saw it, I feel like I had to have it, but it's big and very heavy. I need to find a proper place for that. But look at her, isn't she gorgeous? She's a moment. Slay. Over here we have this other perennial bed that you can feel the end of season. Oh my God, wait. Are those mulberries? My mulberry is so weird because, you know, I think of her as a tree, something that shouldn't die back the way that she dies back every winter. Like she dies back completely. The whole top stalks die and it starts growing again from the base. But that's not my ideal way of growing this tree. I would expect the trunk to stay alive and it grow new branches. I didn't think it would have enough time to produce mulberries, but look, we got some mulberries coming in. We got some mulberries. Oh, they're definitely not ready yet, but girl, you got like a week. Chop. I don't know if y'all do anything in particular to protect your mulberries from dying every winter. They're supposed to be hardy enough to endure this winter. Again, she's not even that severe. Get it together, girl. Get it together, because I want mulberries. I remember I went down to Georgia for one of my book signing events, and we hosted it at this farm, this little urban farm in a residential complex. And oh my goodness, they had a mulberry tree that was like, I kid you not, the size of that pine tree. It was enormous, and there were so many berries. Oh my God, this, bless her heart, this woman just literally goes up to the tree and she goes BAM! On one of the branches, and like so many berries fall. I was like, wait, no, because like, it'll stain your shit so bad. I was like, wait, I wasn't ready for that. And I was wearing a cute outfit, didn't even have my signing yet. I was like, I can't be stained for this signing, hold up. But yeah, girl, get it together. We're starting to see the browns coming in from the wild sea oats. She's really beautiful. I love the little brown wisps that start coming from the seed heads. Although she does reproduce like crazy. I did not plant her there. She just showed up there. I actually planted her way in that corner, and now she's made her way up over yonder under this elderberry. But they're all native. It's all coexisting beautifully in this space. I know the native wildlife really appreciates it. Same with that panicum. I believe it's northern wind, wispy, illustrious grass. But she's definitely starting to fade away. There's actually 3 plants there, and I had to chop one of them back significantly because it was just too much. She was taking up too much room. I wanted to plant more, but I couldn't because she was taking up too much room. So I had to chop her back. I might actually get rid of that for next season, but time will tell. Look at how lush and gorgeous the comfrey is doing. She needs to be harvested and put into the compost for a new nice little boost to the compost. This is a really gorgeous plant that kind of surprised me because I totally forgot that I planted this last season, but she just sprung up and I was like, wait, who is that? Then she started blooming and I was like, oh my God, it's my toad lily. Look at my gorgeous little toad lily. Look at how beautiful these flowers are. Look at that. Oh my God, they're so unique, so pretty, so special. They ideally like a lot more shade than this is getting. You can see how much sun it's getting. It burns the leaves, but I mean, the plant still does well enough to give us those gorgeous blooms, so we love to see it. Absolutely love it. How are we gonna get to the front of the garden again? I am very excited for the winter season, for things to finally take a break, for things to settle down, because winter time is certainly gonna be the time of reflection. It's one of my favorite times because I can really stop and think and process everything that happened in the garden this season. Really think about what I'm gonna do differently for the next one. I definitely know I'm gonna do garlic because I missed having garlic in the garden, so I will definitely be planting that before winter hits. I'm gonna have to sit down and really process what I am definitely gonna do differently. I think squash, something is gonna have to shift there. I mean, we grew so many wonderful squash, so many wonderful pumpkins, but in terms of like how much space they consume in the garden and the kind of upkeep that they require throughout the season, there's definitely something there in terms of managing them or planting them in a space that makes more sense for how big they get. But honestly, like, I only got so much space, so it might just have to be something I endure. I don't know. We'll see, because one thing's for certain, I will never stop growing squash. Honestly, next season, I'm probably gonna grow even less tomatoes, because look at this. Again, this is like, at this point, it just becomes like a monster, just completely taken over. And we really don't be eating tomatoes like that. I thought 8, funny, we went from 16 to 8, and I was like, yeah, that's gonna be more than enough. And 8 was still an overwhelming number. I might have to cut down to like 4. In my mind, that doesn't feel like nearly enough, but in practice, in reality, that might be the perfect number. I don't know, tomato lovers, I'm sorry, but I will probably have to cut down on tomatoes, and maybe that naturally will make room for that squash that I'm looking for. It's like Tetris. I feel like it's like a puzzle every season, trying to figure out what's gonna go where, what's gonna grow well together, what's gonna take up the right amount of space, or how do I make this space work so that everything fits and grows as they're meant to, as prolifically and as efficiently as they possibly can. So much to think about. My brain just kind of like shut. Just went. By this point in the season, I have stopped weeding, I have stopped pruning, I have stopped cutting things back. I'm just letting her do her thing. It is cooler, so things aren't growing nearly as aggressively as they were in the hotter months. I kind of just let whatever's gonna happen in these beds happen. In terms of like preparing the garden for the winter to overwinter, I don't do nothing. I let everything just die back, get nice and hard and brittle and brown, primarily because, you guessed it, I'm tired and I don't want to do all that work. But the more holistic side of it, the one that makes me that validates my lack of desire to want to do that, is that everything, when it dies back and you get all those like brown stems, all those branches, all that, the leaf mold and things like that, all of that makes wonderful places for wildlife to hibernate throughout the winter. They literally sleep within the branches, under the leaves. So why would I remove that? Why would I take those cozy spaces away from wildlife to hibernate through the winter? And then they come back in the spring and the cycle starts all over again. So we love to see it. But I think with that, that's gonna wrap up my end of season tour with you all. I really hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned because there's still quite a few things that are gonna happen. We have our sweet potato harvest, we have our garlic planting, we have the true final harvest of the season. Still so much to look forward to, but more than anything, I can't wait for it all to be done so I can rest my spirit and hibernate and recharge the way the garden and nature does through the winter season, so that when spring comes, we are ready for more abundance than ever before. Something that I'm really hoping, not sure if it's gonna happen this season, something I dream of, something that I'm envisioning is I actually wanna expand the vegetable garden. I think that's gonna help solve a lot of my spacing issues, especially when it comes to the squash. We have quite a bit of room at the far end of the property over there, and there's plenty of room to expand and maybe build a proper market garden so that we can start producing for our local community. I also have this vision of doing farm to table dining, but really, I mean, we grow so much abundance here already, but I feel like in order to produce for that kind of scale, for a local community, for a restaurant, or for like a dining experience, we need even more. But like I said, that's kind of just a dream, an idea floating around in my mind. Let's see what actually ends up happening. But if that does end up happening, can you imagine how much fun it would be to build a whole new garden? Can you imagine coming along on that journey? Because like when you guys started watching, or like when you chimed into everything that was happening with Redleaf, or at least when we started sharing content, most of this was already built. We didn't really start the garden from the beginning in terms of like when we were making content. So to be able to take y'all on the journey of like starting a whole new garden, a whole new vegetable garden from scratch. Oh my God, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. I might not be hibernating this winter at all. But we shall see. Alrighty, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed the tour, if you have any questions about overwintering, about cool crops, about anything else that you saw in the video, please drop them in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to our channel just yet, please do that. It really helps out the health of our channel so that we can keep sharing all of the abundance with you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye, everyone. Happy holidays.